If you haven't trained properly in the last few weeks, maybe 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, or maybe you haven't trained properly ever, this video is the video you were supposed to find. So we're not talking about bouncing back here, we're not talking about a 30-day challenge, 75 hard, going all in at the very beginning. That's not what we're about. We're just going to go through the first 2 weeks that I would give you if you came to me as a client looking to get started. So I'm Alana, I'm a strength conditioning coach. I have been for over a decade. I am from Ireland, but I am based in the Middle East. I live in Dubai, and I work with women who fall into one of two categories usually. So category one being the women who have just fallen off track. Maybe they are coming back from an injury, or they have had kids, they haven't had time for themselves in a while, they are running their own business, they work a full-time job, they have basically trained in the past but they have fallen off track and they don't know how to get started again, or they go through this cycle of being all in or nothing at all. Then you have the other group of women who maybe never trained before in their life, but they understand that it's something that they should be doing, so they're looking for a way to get started with it without it being too overwhelming. The good news is that no matter which category that you fall into, the first 2 weeks back at training looks the same for everyone. So whatever brought you here, this video applies to you. I'll be really honest with you, most of what you've probably heard or learned from other people about how you should start training is not how I approach it, and I'm not saying that it's wrong, it's just not how I find it works for a woman. So I'm going to walk you through what I find works best for women in your situation. So the pattern that most women follow is that they'll get this burst of motivation to get back into exercise or to start exercising, and they'll think that they can do more than what they need to or they should. So for example, I will always have women say to me, okay, I want to do 4 or 5 sessions a week, and I will always try and talk them down and to do less, because the reason being is this burst of motivation, whilst it is great, it's not often realistic with regards to your lifestyle. So what we want to try and do is find the minimum effective dose. So instead of doing 3, 4, 5, 6 sessions in a week, getting really sore, struggling to maintain that, feeling guilty then if you miss one of those sessions that you said that you were going to do, falling off track because you felt guilty, and then the cycle continues, this kind of on-off approach. Instead of that, the minimum effective dose is just doing enough that's going to get you make enough progress, but also is realistic for your lifestyle, and it's going to make you feel confident in yourself that, okay, I've done the workouts that I was supposed to do this week, and your box is ticked, and you are feeling a sense of fulfillment rather than a sense of dread that you have to do 4, 5, 6 workouts and struggling to fit them all in. So we don't want to do that much volume too quickly. So you don't want to go too hard, too fast, and then struggle to recover from that, and then struggle to maintain it, and of course struggle to make progress then. We want to start slow and steady, and we want to think about what is realistic and what is achievable even on your worst weeks. That's the way I think about it, is that how much can we do that is going to bring about progress, but also it's the least amount that you have to do, that you do not have to worry about doing any extra. And if you do any extra, it's a bonus. What does that look like? So my method is to do at least 2 sessions a week. So I've built a framework around this, and I'm going to talk you through it. So the 2 sessions a week is based off of actual guidelines that are updated in 2026 for the first time in almost 20 years. So for resistance training, if we can do 2 sessions per week, full body sessions, that is enough to bring about adaptations and see progress in our bodies. So why not just start with that? Let's just start with the bare minimum and get really consistent with that. And then as you get more consistent with it, you might feel like, do you know what, I'm enjoying this, I want to add an extra one, great. But if not, you know that the lowest barrier or the lowest amount that you can do is 2 sessions. And that's really realistic. So those 2 sessions might look like in week 1, and I had a client tell me about this, how they started in the last few weeks as well, saying that they were completely new to exercise, so they just got a set of dumbbells and they followed the program structure that I had laid out in my community, and they just started with doing 2 sets of each exercise for the first week, so that they could kind of learn the exercises. They were paying attention to the video demos, and they were really just getting comfortable with them. But they felt so fulfilled that they actually managed to do them, and they also felt sore because their body isn't used to it. So this is exactly what I would recommend you do. Week 1, 2 workouts, you're going to do each exercise just twice, so 2 sets of each exercise. You can do them in a circuit format, or you can do them one by one, whatever suits you. And they can be body weight, they can be dumbbells, they can be gym based, whichever you prefer. So 2 workouts, 2 sets of each exercise, done. That's the first week. You're getting more comfortable with the exercises, you kind of understand the layout and what you enjoy or what way you like to format the workout, because it's completely optional. Then in week 2, what you can do then is see if the exercises feel any more comfortable, because progress is the exercise itself feeling more fluid and feeling like the technique is better without actually increasing the weight. This can be progress. Another way that you can improve it in week 2 is to try and maybe add the 3rd set. So you can be doing week 1, 2 sets of each exercise. Week 2, see if you can manage 3 sets of each exercise of the exact same workouts. So you've got workout 1 and workout 2, 2 sets of each in week 1. And then week 2, you're going to do the exact same, but you're just going to add an extra set of each exercise. Now, what do those workouts actually look like? So you're like, okay, that's great, but what do I do? So the framework that I have built is based off of 2 sessions a week that you do full body. So you don't just choose random exercises. I've categorized them into 9 different categories, so that if you do one exercise from each category, you are covering the basis. You're covering all the movement patterns that you should be covering in a session, and you know that you've done a high quality workout. So in my free community, these are all listed. You can do a PDF version, it's all free, but I will post it here, an example of what it might look like. So the categories fall under, you have a power exercise at the very beginning. Then we have a squat pattern exercise, and that just means some form of a squat, whether it's body weight, whether you use a dumbbell, whether you're in the gym and you use a barbell, maybe you do a leg press machine. It's the same movement category rather than just a specific exercise. So we've got these categories, we've got power, squat, hinge, a lunge category or a single leg. You've got an upper body push category, an upper body pull category. You've got a core exercise, a carry exercise, and then finish with a cardio exercise. So I want you to choose one from each, and I explain it all in the community of like how you can lay out the sessions and so on. But right now, all you need to know is that that's the layout of the workout, and I'll give you the example like I said on the screen, and that is exactly what you need to do for week 1, is just do that workout as an example, 2 sets of each exercise. Do the same in week 3 or week 2, but you're going to add a 3rd set of each exercise, and that's it. You get consistent with doing that, and you just rinse and repeat for 4, 6, 8 weeks until you get really comfortable, and then you have the option of changing the workouts up, changing the layout of the workouts, or you know, if you're changing your location, if you're going on holiday, or if you have access to a gym one week but you don't the next week, so you have to do home workouts and gym workouts, that you can use the framework to change the exercises that you have, because there's each category. So each power, squat, hinge, etc. has the 3 options. You have body weight option, you have equipment option that's dumbbell or kettlebell, and then you have equipment option that is found in the gym. So that's how you lay it out. It's really, really simple. I want it to be simple so that you feel like it's achievable, but also that it's doing something. And based off of the recent guidelines, you know that that's exactly what you need to be doing. So it's backed by science. It's not just me telling you, you just have to go to do 2 workouts and you're good. It's actually backed by science. So we want to do that consistently, because the guidelines found that consistency and intensity were the 2 key things that brought about progress. So doing your 2 sessions, but doing them consistently instead of doing 5 sessions one week, 1 session the next week, none the next week, and so on. The consistency was one of the key factors, as well as pushing yourself to about a 7 or an 8 out of 10 in terms of difficulty in that session. So, you know, whether you're doing body weight or you're doing a barbell squat, pushing yourself till it feels like, okay, that feels like an 8 out of 10, maybe I could just do a couple more reps. That's the intensity that you want to be pushing yourself in those sessions. Now, next thing, you also need to understand that this is something that we should be doing long term. This isn't just something that we're doing for 4, 6, 8 weeks. you have to get consistent with this forevermore, ideally, for as long as you can. So the things that you should expect to feel or see in the first few weeks might be slightly sore in the first week, maybe even the second week as you increase that little bit of volume. That's completely normal, but what you'll notice is that that will feel easier because your body will adapt to those movements. You shouldn't always feel sore, so that's something to keep in mind. You might be a little bit sore in the first few weeks. That's it. You might be a little bit tired in different ways. So you might be tired, you might feel energized after the workout, but then you might be tired by the end of the day. But you will notice that your sleep will improve in the first few weeks. You'll also notice that your mood should improve in the first few weeks as you get more consistent with this. So it's going to have a knock-on effect as well. Now, what you won't notice is changes visibly in your body in as little as 2 weeks. So that's something that you need to be aware of, and that's just me being honest. That comes from weeks and months and years of consistency with training. So just keep that in mind, because if that's what you're looking for after 2 weeks, you will give up by week 3. But if you are looking for this to start feeling easier and more realistic for you to continue doing it long term, you will notice that it starts to get easier by week 3 or 4. So if you want the actual workout templates and framework and the video exercise library, there are some postpartum specific, there's some on-demand follow-along workouts, all of this inside my free community. I'm going to put the link to that inside the description. Come in and join us. Don't worry, there's no upselling, there's no being ambushed by emails or anything like that. It is literally just a space for women like you to come in and learn to get consistent with their training finally, and ask questions, give feedback, and basically just learn what works for you in terms of your workouts and what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy. So if you find this helpful, the best thing that you can do for me is to share it with someone else. Share it with another woman, your mom, your sister, your aunt, your friend, your colleague, that person that keeps starting and then stopping and giving up, the person that keeps saying that they're gonna start and they haven't started yet. Send them this video, send them the link to the community and get them to join together, get an accountability buddy. Like I said, it's just twice a week. The rule that we have is twice a week. That's the rule. And remember, for week 1, you just have to do 2 sets. Week 2, 3 sets, and then continue thereafter. I hope to see you inside.